Almost every development project starts with an optimistic timeline, but if you speak to experienced developers, they'll tell you delays are one of the most common challenges in the entire process, and they can have a big impact on both cost and profit. Welcome back to Inside Property Development. Today I'm joined by Claire from our project management team who oversees development projects day to day and deals with timelines, contractors and approvals constantly. And in this episode, we're going to unpack what usually causes projects to run late, which stages are most vulnerable to delays, and what developers can do to keep the projects moving. Let's get into it. Claire, what usually causes delays during a project?
So many things, Peter, can cause a delay in a project. Obviously, there are a lot of delays we try to avoid, and I think you can avoid as a developer, but we'll get into that a little bit later. The main delays, I would say, if we're looking at stages, so let's focus on town planning stages. I think you've got maybe incomplete or non-compliant applications. So going into council, especially with the new Res Code and the VicSmart applications, which are supposed to fast track residential townhouse developments. So if we're submitting an incomplete design, you're going to come back with more questions from council. Yeah. Especially when you've got an opportunity to tick boxes, you shouldn't submit an incomplete design in this new process, but also not understanding what the regulations are.
Yeah, cool. So I'm hearing consultants is a big one.
Yeah. And consultants not understanding, I guess, the new Res Code being one, and then if there are specific site or council regulations they need to adhere to.
Yeah, nice. So that will be the planning process. If we're moving along, where would you identify other big delays?
It can also be a lot of client-driven delays just with design changes, not knowing that you can make design changes later and getting bogged down in that stage. I think I've said that a lot of times here on the podcast. It's a week here, 2 weeks there. It all adds up, and all of a sudden you've lost 3 months to changes that could have happened before we got a planning permit or at endorsement. Yeah,
okay. So like appreciating what needs to be done at each stage and not trying to create the whole project
overdo it
in the first stage.
Yep. And then again, objections and third-party appeals. So maybe neighbours objecting, that can slow things down. I know they don't carry a lot of weight, but it can definitely still slow down the process. Along with probably authorities. So if you've got a site that needs to go to, say, Melbourne Water, even if you do comply, you don't set those timelines or the spot in the queue that you're in. So that could add months. So they're probably the big ones during the town planning process. Moving into, I guess, the next stages, again, you look at working drawings and interiors, depending how long that takes a client or how invested they are, how prepared they are, that can really drag out. I see a lot of clients getting that mental sort of design block at interior stage. A lot of probably the thinking, once you commit to something, lock that in and keep moving.
Okay, so be a bit definitive in your decision making and try not to be too emotional and too attached.
Yeah, for sure. Commercial. If it's an investment, definitely put the emotion aside and move forward. And then construction, I've always said, you lose the most control when you hand over to a builder. So delays definitely out of your control, being what's underground. Some things are unavoidable, but also delays selecting a bad builder, selecting a builder that is not known to finish on time, the cheapest builder, one you've never worked with before. That's probably opening you up to your biggest risk of delays, because those delays can be enormous.
For sure, I guess, because like you said, it's all out of your control. And if you've found a builder that you thought you were being smart and getting the cheap price, the sting is in the tail.
It'll hurt at some stage later down the track. And you think that your construction is generally 12 months, like that could easily just push out to 18 months just by selecting that builder that is not going to hand over. So even though saving yourself, $100,000 at the front end with a cheaper builder, you'll probably lose it at the other end.
For sure. And even if you've saved yourself 100, that builder might find 80 grand in variations throughout the process as well as being slow.
Yeah. And then you've got the risk of obviously insolvency and front-loaded contracts, so the finance risks associated to that, a builder not being able to get to the end. So there's a lot of risk associated with selecting the wrong builder. So I guess without going into it, a lot of these delays I've mentioned are definitely in your control. It's about the couple of months before these stages that are setting you up for delays or minimising your delays.
Yeah, that's a great point, isn't it? Because instead of focusing on the builder's delayed us, maybe get the mirror out and look at what you could have done and how that was actually in your control.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's important to note. I'm not going to stand here and say that there's delays that you're going to avoid altogether. Like, as I said before, you've got Melbourne Water, they're an authority, and you don't dictate the timeline they take to respond. They may be understaffed, or there's people away, or they've got a long queue at that point you submitted. But what you can do is control what application goes into Melbourne Water and have you satisfied everything so that they're not coming back and asking for additional information that you should have had beforehand. And then on the flip side with construction, yes, like you said, look in the mirror. Have you done all your checks, 2 months before you started construction? Is this a builder you've used before? Have they priced this efficiently? Is your payment schedule going to help the builder but also help you if something goes wrong? And have you finalised all your materials? Are you expecting to select throughout the build? Because that's adding months.
Yeah, no, great point. And you could, anyone playing along at home, go back and see old content of ours, which is how to select the right builder and this sort of stuff. All these things circumnavigate whether you're going to get delays or not. And it's probably, like you say, delays will happen, but it's just the law of probability as well. You just want to stack the odds in your favour if you can.
Absolutely. It sounds sort of cliche, but it's all the months and the work you do at your desk, which actually minimises and avoids the delays once you hand over and lose that little bit of control.
Yeah, I think it's people probably thinking they're moving fast, signing a build contract, builders on site, and then, like you say, the contract's a bit loose. Potentially there was just allowances, nothing's chosen, documentation was probably rushed and smashed through, and it's maybe not lining, and you might having to go back to consultants.
Absolutely. I have a good example, slightly going off topic, but it's relevant in the sense I looked over some of my friends' plans who are doing an extension, and she is at the moment going out to builders for pricing, and her schedule, a lot of the items were, yes, that will be tiles, but the tile is TBC. And I said, that's fine. You can select them as you go. This is a small renovation, but the price you get back from your builder isn't, there was say 10 items that were TBC. So each builder that's coming back, that's unknown, right? So you're going to select a builder potentially that is on budget, but hasn't allowed for any of those items. And then you're going to move out and pay rent somewhere else, hoping to be finished in 6 months, but you haven't even looked at tiles yet. So it's the same principles, right? When you bring it back to townhouse developing, it's the months at the desk before you hand over that control is going to minimise your delays through that period.
Yeah, 100%. And whether you think, when the builder wants the tiles, I'll move quickly and I'll go choose, but builders are builders as well, and when they need the tiles, maybe there's going to be delay on the tiles, or they got to, there's a lead time on the tiles, and maybe they need that information to prep the subfloor, and there's lots of these knock-on effects that it's all well and good to rush towards a contract.
Yeah,
but if you can build it before or with your contract,
and that's also relying on a builder to go, hey, I need the tiles in 6 weeks' time. I'll give you 6 weeks to figure it out. But let's be honest, majority of builders saying, the tile is starting next week. What tiles do you want?
Yeah.
And not to their fault, but they're managing a build as fast and quickly as they can so they can make money and hand over in time. And then all of a sudden you've got 5 days to get your tiles.
Yeah, love it. So we've gone through plenty of potential delays and where the project is reasonably vulnerable. But what I'm getting from how do we keep the process moving and projects moving, and how do we stack the odds in our favour for to minimize delays, I'm hearing being organized.
Yeah, I think the point of this, there are delays. There's always going to be delays at some point. But let's say in a townhouse development, there's an opportunity to have 20 delays, for argument's sake. You can minimize that down to 3. If, for example, let's look at the design and town planning. When you're doing your feasibility, you've done a lot of checks in terms of, do we need extra authority approval? What regulations are we facing for this area? What are the council unknowns? Are there trees? You've had arborists look at it. You've had town planner and designer look at it before you even buy a site. So it's like surrounding yourself with the consultants that fully understand this site before you even purchase it, and knowing that once you do purchase the site, moving to the next stage being design and town planning, they're the consultants that are going to set you up for success. Because having a designer that maybe has never designed in that area or designed for that council, and then getting 2 RFIs back during the town planning process, it's not even the delay from council, it's delay that then you've got to go and update the plans for the 3rd time. And that is adding 3 months to your overall timeline.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it, when you put it in sort of a timeline like that.
And we're talking townhouse developments, a side-by-side where, you know, it's res code, we're following very strict instructions. Don't play outside those rules, because those rules are there to fast track, but also your development is good with those rules. Play inside those rules and ensure that your designer is playing inside those rules. I think that's important.
Yeah, 100%, especially from an investment point of view. You know, you get an owner occ that, you know, things mean more to them than others. But yeah, talking down the investment part of you, and even owner occupiers, you still need an investment mindset. You know, money's money. There's not too many people around that are happy just to take as long as they want and do what they want and make changes and delay the builder. So always come at it from that investment mindset.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess surround yourself with the right consultants for the project, and they will minimize your delay through that town planning. And then, like you said, try and have your investment mindset and not get bogged down on the little design things at that stage, because you can lose a lot of time in town planning very easily. That can be controlled. And then moving on to construction, like we said earlier, the main thing is, and this one's maybe even more important than the town planning, because you can sort of pick up time with the town planning, because it goes with town planning, it's in your control, then it's out of your control, and it's back and forth. So you can make up time along the way and overlap things. Construction, it's 100% out of your control. But you can control it in the 3 months leading up to construction.
Who your builder is and how prepared they are.
Yeah. Your documents, are they all done? Have you finalised your schedule? Have you done all your checks? Have you worked with them? Etc., etc. Have you had 5 meetings with them before you're starting on site? So once you hand over, expectations are the same. The builder gets what you want to produce, and you understand how the builder's going to operate, and you're going to stay out of their way. Of course, notwithstanding, there might be something underground that no one can foresee. A subcontractor might go bust halfway through, completely out of the control of the builder. But if everything else is set up, that's not going to delay your project to a point where you're losing so much time and money that it's causing you stress.
Love it. Great value, Claire.
As Marcus Bruce always says, control the controllable.
Brucey, bit of wisdom from the young fella.
Who's in Bali.
Yeah, good on you, Brucey. Thanks, Claire. Awesome. We'll see you in a couple of weeks, but lots of value there, but lots in our control, which we love.
Absolutely. Thanks, Peter.
Awesome. All right, now if you're serious about property development and want to go deeper, here's how we can help. First, join the Little Fish Network. It's our free community where developers share real projects, strategies, and insights every day. Link below. And if you need a site, we can source and secure the right development opportunity for you through our buyer's agent service. If you want access to me, I offer one-on-one mentoring, so you've got me in your corner when you need it. And if you want it done for you, our expert team handles end-to-end project management. If you're ready to move, book a call with me below and we'll map out the best path forward for you and your project. And if you're still here, I appreciate you sticking around right to the end. Do me a favor, give the video a hype and a like, drop a comment. I read and reply to them all. Really helps the channel and helps us keep creating this content free. I'm Peter Kelly. Until the next one, see you at the top.